Okay, our last speaker tonight then will be Niklas. And I don't even want to presume to know what the title is, but it's something about everyone in this room will be initiated accordingly. Okay. Oh, are you moving over to here? Okay, very good. All right, we have a 1.5 to 2 minute mental stretch. Yeah, it's okay. There's some good, nice things. Well, how about one of the pieces? Actually, an actual piece. Well, the anthem could be okay. We could do anthems. We could. Oh yeah, this time. She does a beautiful French piece. That's very nice. Claire de Lune. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I could tell, boy, it was a real. You realize that today, out of all the people that spoke, we've had 4 fifth-ray minds at work. In different ways, at least in different ways, absolutely. Lawson's more, fourth. And Philip, well, a mixture. Some third and fifth. Yeah. You're the only one. You're the only one. Oh, you won now. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. One. What? Niklas tonight. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this will be Niklas. The mouth of the jaguar.
Can you zoom around? 66? No, not really. Yeah, we can just do like that a little bit.
Okay. Okay, everyone, may we have your attention now? Thank you. I guess that's the title.
Well, it's one of the titles, at least. What I will try to do this late hour is to present a few key thoughts that I feel are essential to a deeper understanding of astrology and esoteric astrology in particular. A few key thoughts that I believe that when you read the words of the Tibetan in the book Esoteric Astrology by Alice Bailey, you read these passages and you say to yourself, okay, fine, and then you move on. But there's always something behind the words given in the book. And I'm the kind of type of person who wants to know what he's really talking about when he's using these kinds of words. So, in order to try to find that out, I have resorted into the heavens. Because when you deal with horoscopes, which are diagrams they're not complete pictures of the heavens in any way whatsoever. They can be very useful, but you cannot go beyond, go deeper when you only deal with horoscopes themselves. So I found that the only way to be able to devise new approaches also to charts is to understand the foundations and backgrounds to how these charts come about in the first place. What are the sources of these different constellations, these different wheels, these different energies? Because there are sources for them in different directions of our universe. And I will try to present to you a few ideas about some important aspects of esoteric astrology here. I know it's late, but the planting of them, hopefully, then we'll have them grow as they are worked upon, especially with a group mind. So the first concept, the first idea that we need also to bring into the picture of esoteric astrology is what's been called here the central wheel of life. And that central wheel of life is not the signs of the zodiac that we deal with necessarily in our horoscopes. This wheel of life is a different wheel altogether than the zodiacal wheel, which is related to the ecliptic plane, which is the plane in which the sun apparently is moving annually. Of course, it's the Earth moving around, but apparently the sun is moving in that ecliptic plane through the zodiacal constellations. And hence, it's a very important plane where are found the 12 constellations whose energies impact us during the year. But besides that wheel, there is this other wheel which is essential to us and which has not been presented in esoteric astrology, in the words very clearly at least. Always he is hinting at these things, of course, but he's never speaking out on them. So, what is then the wheel, the central wheel of life? It relates to this universe to which we belong, universe, using the word in the connotation of the galactic and the galaxy to which we ourselves belong, which is the Milky Way galaxy. It's, you know, there are galaxies much larger out there. There are lesser galaxies. There are irregular galaxies, spiral galaxies. There are many kinds of shapes of galaxies. And our galaxy, the Milky Way, is not so special, you know. They're all special in their own kind of way. But to us, it's special because it is the galaxy in which we find our place. And, well, this is where you are, right? So this is the map of the galaxy, and this is where you're at, and then there is a direction towards the center of the galaxy, as you can see. There's another direction away from the center of the galaxy. There's a movement of the sun because it belongs to one of these spiral arms. And hence, these spiral arms moving around the center, hence the sun is moving around with all the other stars in these arms around the center of the galaxy. So this we could call, for lack of another word, the cosmic dimension which is really beyond our own solar system, right? So our own solar system is a small atom within this greater atom, if you see it in that way. Yeah, and of course this Milky Way galaxy can in a way be related to the great thousand-petal lotus. There is a strong connection there. But to bring this down into astrology a little bit more, we need then to realize that this galactic plane also makes up a wheel like this. But that galactic plane or galactic wheel or cosmic wheel, whatever word we want to use, is different from the ecliptic, from the zodiacal. It's not the same plane as our sun is apparently moving around the earth, which it is not, of course. They are two different planes, and they are tilted with respect to each other by approximately 60 degrees. And the truth of the matter is that they're not tilted 60 degrees, but they're really tilted 300 degrees. And why am I saying that? Well, there's a way in which you can assign constellations also to the galactic wheel, just as you can to the ecliptic wheel of the zodiac. The 12 constellations are cosmic in their nature. And the 12 constellations are found related to both of these wheels. They're not just in the ecliptic. So when you talk about Aries and Taurus and Gemini and so on and so forth, yes, they are in the ecliptic. But they are also in this wheel, the galactic wheel. That sounds like a strange thing, because when the planets move through the ecliptic constellations, the zodiacal constellations, they move through these signs or constellations. So how can these constellations also be part of that other wheel, which is in different locations than the ecliptic wheel? The solution to that is found in what the Tibetan is talking about when he's talking about the 3 crosses. These 3 crosses are related to different wheels. And just to give you one example, that is that what we call the cardinal cross is really originating its energies and qualities from the galactic wheel. So whenever the Tibetan is assigning a hierarchically ruling planet of a certain sign or constellation, he is drawing upon an understanding of the energies found in the galactic wheel, the stars and the constellations therein found. They provide us with a certain planetary mediator or ruler than on the hierarchical level for a certain sign or constellation. Carrying that idea further along, you will realize that whenever a man at some point in time of his development is ready to enter the cardinal cross, after the third initiation and having taken the fourth initiation, he is really aligning himself with the galactic wheel, fully reoriented, fully having fully reversed the wheel. Because as I said, there's not a 60-degree difference between these two, but rather a 300-degree difference between them. In other words, when you line up the constellations on these two wheels, they move in opposite directions. And that is the esoteric reason behind the reversal of the wheel, because you become, as you enter upon the fixed cross, you become sensitive and responsive to the energies coming from the galactic wheel. That's really what's happening. So whenever you read in esoteric astrology about reorienting and reversing and so on and so forth, it is really the galactic wheel that is being talked about here. Here you have an example then. What you see here on the screen now is the galactic equator crossing the picture like this. This is the galactic equator. And over here, in between the zodiacal constellation of Sagittarius and the zodiacal constellation of Scorpius, in between there you have the galactic center. And the way in which these signs are attributed here, in this case, you will find it according to the hierarchical rulerships that the Tibetan has assigned in his book, Esoteric Astrology. He is taking the energies and qualities from the different sources that you find here related to these signs and constellations. So that's the origin of that. Now, to go into all of that and to talk about all of that, you know that that's a long story, but when you study these constellations, the stars that are prominent in these constellations, the different mythologies related to them, the stories, the legends, and you peel off the layers of the Greeks, the Hindus, the Vedas, the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Mayans, and all of that, then you will see clearly the essence and the relations that can be made to the rulerships that the Tibetan is making. So this is really the book of life, as you know, is found in the heavens, but we have to apply ourselves to it, and we have to try to read it as best we can, you know, and it takes time. It takes time. But if we ever want to go further and deeper with this science, there is no other way but to go to the foundations of it and there find illumination and understanding. Otherwise, yes, we can do a little bit here and a little bit there, but you can only go so far. That's my conviction, at least. The opposite side of the heavens is this. You can also attribute the signs there. And this wheel then, you will understand, is where an understanding of the 12 creative hierarchies come from. When we try to understand what are the creative hierarchies, what are them, we will come to much greater understanding when we study the heavens and the constellations related to these hierarchies. So there are 12 hierarchies, but there are also the 7 creative hierarchies in manifestation, which are greater divisions of these, but along the same wheel, basically, which is also providing the basis of the 7 rays. So to gain an understanding of the 7 rays and the 7 ray lords, you will study the same wheel, but in different divisions. And it's where the Tibetan is talking about the rays, and I think it's that place where it's talking about the process of individualization and the rays. That's where he's giving us the clue as to what the constellations in the heavens are that are related to the different rays. So that's a most important piece he's giving us there. Well, as you see, I'm presenting ideas and trying to paint a picture of a synthesis, because it's all related, it's all one. But we have to sort out the different pieces of it at the same time as we realize that oneness. So let's see where I want to go from here. I don't know really. Well, any questions so far? Yes. How it works? Yes. Let me give you an example, just a quick, brief one, which was the one that basically put me on the track of this. And it was the constellation. Let's see if I can bring this up again. Or probably I have a bit. It's better to go into the this place. Here you have the line, which is the galactic plane, the galactic equator, as you say. And in the galactic equator is found, for example, this constellation, which many of you have seen in the sky, right? It's the famous W or M in the sky, and that W or M is the origin for the symbol of the sign Aquarius. It's the wavy lines, basically. It's related to the waters of space, if you will, and the mother in a very profound way. So this is, because I've always felt that this was somehow related to Aquarius, and so I started from there, and then I worked myself around the galactic wheel, actually finding out the different relations. But looking at this constellation simply, it is a representation, therefore, of the mother. This is the enthroned queen, Cassiopeia. She's representing the feminine aspect. And just to make a long story short, she is the basis for the hierarchical rulership of the moon in Aquarius. The moon, as you know, is a ruler of Cancer and of Virgo, You know, Cancer is the mother, and Virgo is the Virgin Mother giving birth to the Christ. And here you have Cassiopeia, which is another female character enthroned on her royal throne, who is, you know, just another example of the feminine force, the feminine power, and hence there's a very close connection to the moon in that. So just simply and briefly, we don't have to go into all the mythologies and stuff like that, but that would be a very, very simple example of how to relate a hierarchical ruler with a constellation. Peter.
So you're relating Cassiopeia to Aquarius to the symbolism and not to a relationship of the two symbols.
Yes, Cassiopeia is found on the Galactic Wheel, and hence is one of the sort of the 12 constellations on the Galactic Wheel. So by analogy or correspondence, it will therefore be related to one of the ecliptic constellations.
And are they sequential?
They are sequential.
And
But
yeah.
I said that this was related to the hierarchies, and you know that there's a place where he's shifting Sagittarius and Capricorn around, and there's a reason for that. When you study this wheel, you understand why he does that. But that's also a story which we don't have time for.
What is Aquarius on this picture?
Certainly Aquarius is well, it's not, well, it's on this picture in the sense of the Galactic Wheel, yes. But when you, if you want to find it in the, here he is, here the guy is, pouring forth the water. So they are 60 degrees away from each other, right? The ecliptic wheel and the galactic wheel. So they're not necessarily in the same place. In this case, they are rather close to each other, however, if you align them, so to speak. Was there another question? Yes.
Did you find a relationship between the constellations that he mentions, well, actually Alice Bailey, in the labors of Hercules to your constellations and the hierarchies here?
The constellations given in Labors of Hercules and many other sources, because that's an ancient tradition really, given there, they are like an intermediary connection between, should we say, the mutable, the fixed cross, and the cardinal cross, and hence between the ecliptic wheel and the galactic wheel. So they are sort of a way to help us move from one cross to another. And hence they have the three decanates also related to them, which three decanates relate to the three crosses. All right. Lawson.
Could you extend Eva's question to one more example? So you did Aquarius, and
I did Aquarius,
that
yes.
helped me tremendously. But I think if you did just one more, the last penny might drop.
Yeah. Well, we have many to choose from here. Let's just put it. This guy is Cepheus. He is the king, but he is also the father. He is the father in the heavens. It is him to which the Christ referred when he was under Piscean influence, if we put it in that way. You know, the father's home. It's all about returning back to one's source again, and this constellation is really speaking about that, because he's reversed himself. You know, he's not standing the other way around with respect to the ecliptic wheel. He's completely reversed himself, and he's standing and having another perspective. He's standing on the pole star. He's standing on the pole star, which is a very significant point because that is the point around which everything is revolving. So he has reached home. He is symbolizing that by taking his stand in that immutable place of peace, really. Of peace, really. There's much more to be said. Even he joins the ranks of the water bearers, he himself, because you see this little lizard here. This is really also a symbol of water. It's the urn of water which he's carrying on his head. So he's joining the ranks of the water bearers. Much of what is given in the old commentary, I believe, can be in one way or another related to these things. So when you read the old commentary, some of what is said there makes much more sense when you have this concept along with you reading the book.
One more thing is, you when we were looking at Aquarius, and you looked at Cassiopeia and the feminine, that gave you a direct tie-in to some further sense of why the Tibetan has given us the moon as the hierarchical ruler. So doing the same thing, how are we getting Pluto from looking at this fellow?
Well, it's a good question, and right now well, he's standing on the tail in a sense, and he's, as you can see, he's neighbor to the great dragon here. And in a way, Pluto and the dragon energy are so much connected that I believe that could be one of the reasons why Pluto is a ruler here. So he's the closest person to the dragon force or dragon energy, which you can see is next to him here. The whole of the neighboring constellation here is that of the dragon. The dragon power, which is related to the base of the spine, and the wheel energy, as that wheel energy activates the base of the spine, and the energies, the Kundalini energies rise to the top of the head and relate to the base and the spine. But much more can be said about these things, and in many cases also the study of prominent stars in the constellation gives you a much clearer relation to what the Tibetan is assigning, and not only the constellation itself. Okay. And then the very first constellation is this constellation upon the Galactic Wheel. It's the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan, or also known as the Northern Cross, symbolizing the cross of crucifixion or renunciation, which is the first constellation on the Galactic Wheel related to the cardinal cross, and hence you understand that the fourth initiation of the crucifixion and the renunciation places you on that galactic wheel. Yes?
Nicholas, you've talked about the galactic wheel and the ecliptic. The way I understood you is that the galactic wheel has got all the cardinal cross, and that we are meant to understand these wheels in terms of the three crosses. Yeah?
Yeah.
Did I understand you correctly?
Yes, yes.
But, you know, the Tibetan mentions, or rather describes the mutable cross as just the ordinary person doing its personality
Yep, personality emphasis,
Right.
building the instrument.
Right. But the reverse wheel is the fixed cross when, right? But on your diagram there, both the mutable cross and the fixed cross are on one wheel. So does that mean the reverse of that particular wheel?
I don't know if they are on one wheel.
Go back to one of your pictures.
Let me give you an example here. We can do it here on this picture as well, I think. So in the galactic wheel, which you have here, you have the order as Aries, Taurus, guess who? Gemini. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini. And if you go down here and see, it's Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio. So it's 10, 9, 8. Here it's 1, 2, 3. Hence they're moving in the opposite directions. Do you see what I mean? No. Okay, so if you move...
I'm getting confused with your previous diagram, this one.
Okay, well, it is accurate, but maybe it's easier to understand if you look at this picture.
I see. Okay.
Yes. So, if you are moving through the signs in the right order, so to speak, along the fixed cross order, you move from Aries to Taurus to Gemini. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's in that direction on the galactic wheel. So if you move in that direction here and you transpose that to this wheel like so, you will see that it is then from 11 to 10 to 9 to 8. In other words, you're going the opposite direction to that. So the movements of the two wheels is like this. Right. And that is the basis for the renting and the tearing that the disciple experiences in his life between these two different crosses and energies that originate from them. That's good. Thank you for asking the question. Now, well, there's so much in this, as you can understand. So where are we going now? Let's go to, let's say something about, I promised something about the Pleiades as well. Let's do it in this way. Okay. Let me take a few quotes to you. Oh yes, there's a long story here. But by the way, let's just look at this. This is so beautiful. This is taken from the Dendera Zodiac in Egypt, right? You know, they were good astrologers. They had, you know, initiates knowing about this stuff, of course. But does it really relate to the astrology that we are doing in any way and what the Tibetan is writing about? You know, that's a question you can ask. On this picture here, you see two details from the Dendera Zodiac, both of them. And both of them are in the images of lions, okay? So here you have one lion, and here you have another lion. Now this lion, you can see, he's looking straight forward, he's very strong, and his tail is down like this. That symbolizes the lion of, the ahamkara, building the self-consciousness, creating an integrated personality, right? So self-consciousness. However, in this picture, why do they have two lions in the same zodiac? I mean, in the same picture. Doesn't make sense. Well, it does. There's a difference here. This lion is not looking forward like this lion. He's looking backwards. He's looking backwards to his tail area, which in this case is raised up, upraised, which is not the case here. He's even receiving some help with that, as you can see. So this is simply the image of the lion, meaning you have built and created your personality. You have fulfilled the task of the mutable cross. Now what? Well, now you have to raise the energies, because this is also the symbol of the scorpion. You know, the raised tail of the scorpion. The energies go down, but as you reverse the wheel, the energies don't stay below in the lower centers, below the diaphragm. They are returned back up to the higher centers. That's the raising of the scorpion, and that's also here what is indicated by the raised tail of the lion. He is responding to the heart of the sun, if we put it in that way, to Neptune, this guy. And he is reversing the wheel therefore. And that is why he also has, well, you see the scale here from the balance. That's simply what is being said in the Dendera zodiac. That in Libra, in the area of Libra here, this is to be achieved. The reversal is to be achieved, and the moving from one cross, the mutable cross, onto the fixed cross, where Leo is one of the arms, is to be undertaken. So you can look at these pictures and you can scratch your head a little bit and see, oh, that's very nice and beautiful. But it's the same thoughts that are found in the books of Alice Bailey and the Tibetan. There's no difference there. They had the same notions as we do. So I just wanted to give that as a little example of the esoteric astrology is not something new per se. It's always been there, but we need to learn to read the signs there.
Does the zodiac of Dendera indicate the ecliptic and the wheel of life, as you were calling them, as well? Are they charted?
I would say yes, and I would say that they are doing it in this way. In terms of the 8 arms, which are really the 12 arms. You have the cross like this, and then you have the cross like this. That is the symbol of the 2 wheels that I've been speaking about. Okay? Yeah, that's the short answer of that. That's the short answer of that. So we were going to the Pleiades, and it's a long way, it seems. So let's see. What was it that I was going to say? The Pleiades. Heidi, you know. I was going to show you something. Let's see if it turns up here. Yes, there's a lot to say here, as you can see. Yes, there's much more. Yes. Now, what did I say before that I wanted to talk about? Does anyone recall? Yes, Pleiades. Now, yes. Thank you. So I just wanted also to touch upon the point about the Pleiades, you know. Here are some of those quotes about the Pleiades that, you know, we've scratched our heads about as well. So this is from Consciousness of the Atom, for example. It says on page 152, Pleiades is a central point around which our solar system revolves. Others say that in the constellation of Hercules is the point of magnetic attraction for our solar system. On the other hand, you will find this flatly contradicted. We shall find some astronomers talking about star drift and saying that the drift or trend of certain stars is in a specific direction. Others argue that the distances are so vast that it is impossible to determine whether certain systems are following a definite orbit or not. Then in Secret Doctrine, Blavatsky tells us on page 582 of the second volume that the Pleiades are the central group of the system of sidereal astronomy. They are found in the neck of the bull, the constellation Taurus. They are therefore in the Milky Way. They are thus considered, Alcyone in particular, as the central point around which our universe of fixed stars revolves. The Pleiades and Alcyone in particular as the central point around which our universe of fixed stars revolves. The Sun, the solar system, has Alcyone in the Pleiades for the center of its orbit. Taurus is regarded as the central group of the Milky Way. The Pleiades as the central group of the bull, and Alcyone, one of the 7 Pleiades, is supposed to be the star around which our universe revolves. So it's clear enough how central it seems that the Pleiades and the 7 sisters are supposed to be to us. But how can we reconcile this, which is not only a notion found in the Secret Doctrine or in the books by Bailey, it's an age-old concept found in many traditions, not only this. So what does it really mean? How can we approach that? Because as far as we can understand things, there is no such movement as our solar system or solar systems moving around the Pleiades per se. There's in no way whatsoever has this been proven or disproved, proven by scientists or astronomers. So there's something else behind this, I believe, and it's a long story to try to talk about that, but one way to try to approach that would be to understand that when our planet, the Earth, revolves upon its axis, there is an axis like this, pointing in a certain direction in the heavens. And wherever it is pointing into the heavens, that star or that area in the heavens will be standing still, and the rest of the stars will be seen moving around that point. You've probably seen those pictures with long duration exposures where the stars are like lines around the one center in the middle. That, I believe, is what is really said and spoken of here. Meaning that wherever the axis of our planet Earth or our solar system is pointing, they're pointing more or less in the same area, and you can talk about that. That area is standing still. But how could then that area be related to the Pleiades, which is supposed to be the constellation standing still, and around which our universe of fixed stars revolve? Because the Pleiades are not found in the direction of where our planet is pointing, nor where our solar system is pointing. But it is symbolically present in that area in the heavens, because it was responsible for the birthing of our planet and our solar system. It was the mother in that conception that made it all to be. And the dragon influence found in that area is also related very much to the mother and the midwives and the seven sisters of the Pleiades. But in addition to that, there is a way in which the seven Pleiades themselves can be seen transposed onto that area of the heavens. Slideshow, I guess. So these are the seven. This is the cluster of the Pleiades of the seven sisters. It's a huge cluster, but there are 7 main stars, or should we say 9 main stars, because there are 7 sisters and 2 parents. The 2 parents standing over here, looking very proud, seeing their sisters. And they are found in the neck of the Bull constellation, where is found the eye of the bull, the great star, the royal star of Aldebaran as well. Now, there is a way in which you can, if you really want to, in which you can transpose Taurus and the Pleiades onto the pole, because there is a relationship made between the constellation of Taurus and the Pleiades with the pole, which takes place, and I have to do it like this, which takes place and I've actually moved to that point in time. We are now looking at the vernal equinox position in the heavens for the year 2934 BC. Just a second. And you can see that the vernal equinox is, in this case, in the constellation of Taurus the Bull, right? And you can see that the equator is moving through what? The Pleiades in the neck of the bull, and Alcyone, which is the major star there. So whenever you are going through an age of Taurus, which in a way is said to be the beginning age, and this is the reason why I believe they say this is the start of the wheel in a certain sense. Whenever you're going through this and there is an alignment of the equator with Alcyone like this, then what happens on top here is interesting, because there will be another alignment taking place. You see the north celestial pole and the meridian here is aligning with the star Thuban, which is the alpha star of the constellation of Draco, the dragon. And hence, through these two alignments, within this coordinate system of the celestial equator and meridian, there is a transposition of energies possible between Taurus and the Pleiades and the dragon and this area around the pole of the Earth and the solar system. So this would be an astronomical reasoning behind that transposition. Now, a question.
Niklas, I want to ask a question about Pleiades. Which of them is lost?
Yes, the lost Pleiad. Well, there are different stories about that, there's truth to several of them. It depends on how you look at things, but in one way it can be Merope, which is lost. She married a mortal and hence was lost to the heavenly, to the divine in that sense. She is the one which is farthest below, down of all the Pleiades found there. She has a particular connection to our planet, the Earth, I would say, for example. Yes, we'll come back to the picture of the Pleiades. So now, just having established rudimentarily a reason why we can transpose the Pleiades onto the pole, because the Pleiades is that center around which our whole universe of fixed stars is revolving, right? So the pole has to be in that area. And we are looking in that area right now. And the star Thuban, the alpha star of Draco, is that essential point out of which we have to view things from, actually. It's the center. It's the center in a sense. Now, spread around this Thuban point will be the Trimurti, the three major constellations. You find the Great Bear, you find the Little Bear, and you find the Pleiades. These make up the three aspects of that major being of which we are a part. So you have, when you look from Thuban here, when you look in this direction, you have Ursa Major and the Big Dipper, right? And moving even further on, you will see why the Tibetan is relating Ursa Major to the constellation of Leo. Because moving from Thuban, you draw a line through this constellation, and then you end up in the great constellation of Leo like this. And this is the line of energy related to the will aspect, to Shambhala of our planet, which is related to Saturn as well. And hence, moving through the Big Dipper, Ursa Major, Great Bear, and Leo. Now, again, returning back to that central point of Thuban, in the Dragon, we move in the direction of the Little Bear, which is, should we say, I would say a transposition of the Syrian presence and energy. The Little Bear is a corollary to the prototype of the Great Bear. So if the Great Bear is the father in this case and represents that, the Little Bear is the son, hence relating to Sirius and the Christ aspect. So the Little Bear is connected to Sirius. If we move through from Thuban through the Little Bear, we come to the constellation of Pisces. And hence, this is the reason why the Tibetan is giving us the alignment of Sirius to the hierarchy on our planet via Uranus and the moon as well, and then into the constellation of Pisces. And here it is. Then he's talking about the alignment with respect to humanity, which is that going out from the Pleiades, right? And that then again, you look at things from the perspective of Thuban, and you move in the direction of the Pleiades. So where are the Pleiades? Well, the Pleiades are connected, the 7 stars of the Pleiades and the 2 parents are connected to the various constellations that lie around the polar area here. And the different stars of the Pleiades that we saw on the picture can be connected to the different constellations here. So, for example, the 2 parents of Atlas and Pleione can be connected to, of course, the 2 parents of Cassiopeia and Cepheus. They are symbolically representing Atlas and Pleione close to the pole. So if you transpose the cluster of stars onto the pole, these are the two constellations representing Atlas and Pleione. Then we come to maybe the most important star of all, which is that of Alcyone, which is supposed to be the central star of the Pleiades. And that is, of course, the next constellation around here, which is this constellation, Cygnus the Swan. If you transpose Alcyone onto the pole, it becomes related to Deneb, to Cygnus the Swan, or the Northern Cross. The cross, which is also part of the fixed cross, which is indicating the movement around a certain area in the sky. So the two parents and Alcyone, and then you can go around here. The eagle is related, Vega is related, Hercules is related. For example, Maya, the star Maya in the cluster, it means Maha or Maya, the great one, the mighty one. Who is the mighty one? Well, Hercules is the mighty one. And hence you can find an easy relation there. You have to go into, of course, the different traditions, the meanings of the names of the sisters of the Pleiades, and relate that to the stars and the constellations here. And then you will make sense out of that.
Have you any thoughts about whether rotating around the Taurus is rotating towards Taurus or away from Taurus, the Pleiades?
No, I don't have an idea about whether or not the Pleiades are moving away from Taurus. No, I don't.
Well, no. Whether our entire circle of fixed stars is rotating around Taurus, but are the Pleiades moving away, or are we moving towards?
Aha, you mean in that sense?
Right.
Well, difficult to say. What we can say, and you touched upon that, is that the solar system, the long body of the solar system, and what we call the motion of the solar apex, is towards the constellation of Lyra and Hercules. So it's towards this direction. That's the solar apex movement. But then you have the movement around the galaxy per se, which we share with so many other stars and constellations in the arm to which we belong in the galaxy. Now, if you take a vector of that movement around the galaxy, that movement is pointing in a certain direction. And what direction is that? And
all around the Sirius.
That vector is pointing in this direction. It's pointing towards Alcyone, or what we call the Northern Cross, or Cygnus the Swan. So our movement with respect to the galactic center is in the direction of Alcyone, as it is transposed onto the pole, rightly so, because the Pleiades have their part in the Trimurti around that throne, if we put it that way.
So you think Bailey is speaking entirely symbolically and not astronomically?
I certainly believe that she is speaking symbolically. Whether or not she's speaking about something else as well, I have seen no proof of that, at least. So at least I have a deep sense and conviction that she's at least speaking symbolically in this way.
And if she's speaking of the entire universe of fixed stars, does she mean our galaxy?
Well, that's the idea, because this movement with respect to Alcyone, which Alcyone is indicating to us, is with respect to the galactic center, and hence what we share in terms of the movement of all stars in our galaxy. So in a way, because there is a very profound connection between the Pleiades and the galaxy and the galactic center. And that has to do with the idea of them being the root, the foundation on a certain level of things.
The galactic center in Sagittarius.
Which is in this direction. I often have seen the Pleiades as an outpost of the galactic center.
Mm-hmm.
You get my idea? Because this is the root center of the galaxy. The head center is found in the opposite direction. This is where the tree of life is having its roots, if we put it that way. And hence you find a constellation like Scorpio there as well. Yes, sorry, yes.
It's interesting. It also solves a puzzle that I've often had about the Tibetans' elevation of the importance of the Pleiades. And that there seems to be a dual quality there. On one level, he's saying it's almost like a cosmic material aspect.
Yes.
But then there's references that place it, really second only to the Great Bear. And this makes sense of that in a way that the localized Pleiades really doesn't.
Yes, I do believe so. I do believe so. So what we, thank you for sharing that. So what we are actually looking at is the area in the sky where we read about, this is the land of the immortal ones, because these are the stars that never set below the horizon. These are the immortal gods, the highest one, the elevated ones. This is the Elysian fields. This is the Mount Meru. You have all these names. This is the holy place of holies. All these different names related to one and the same thing. And this is the mountain that we all have to ascend in order to place our feet eventually upon the galactic wheel, the cardinal cross. We have to ascend this mountain, take the third initiation of the transfiguration. Now, you can also transpose upon this the egoic lotus, because the Thuban, the story about Thuban, you read the astrological connotations, and it's about the hiding of treasures. What's that story about? Well, it's the story about the unveiling of the central tier of petals in the egoic lotus to reveal the jewel in the lotus. That's the treasure that we're talking about here. So this is really also the center of the egoic lotus that you're looking at, which of course is being opened up as you ascend the mountain, right? So as you ascend the mountain, it's also opening up for you. Well, I have stuff here we could go into, but we don't have the time to do that. So you can, in other words, transpose the different petals of the egoic lotus also onto this area in the heavens, and it will make a lot of sense to you in doing so. We are there. Good. Yeah, we are there. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Yes. Well, just a few words. Because, just to fill in one thing, because we talked about the cardinal cross and we've talked about the mutable cross, you descend from the cardinal cross onto the mutable cross. Don't forget that. You as spirit have descended from the cardinal cross to begin with. So this is really your home. This is where it came from, right? Then you found your way onto the ecliptic in a way. And you found the movement of the sun to be part of building that self-consciousness that you need on the planet within the material form. You developed that, you reoriented that, And as you reorient that, you move from the mutable onto the fixed cross. As you do that, the two signs merge. One sign of the mutable cross and one sign of the fixed cross. They merge as you reverse the wheel. So the mutable cross doesn't disappear. It becomes one with one of the arms of the fixed cross. And thus you ascend, because you can find, when you look at the areas around the mountaintop here, you will see that they are dominated by the four arms of the fixed cross. Here you have Hercules related to Scorpio, the Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, serpent wrestler, related to Scorpio, Aquila the eagle, related to Scorpio. This is the Scorpio arm of the fixed cross. Here you have, well, you know, the waters. He joined the ranks of the water bearers, and you have Aquarius down here. So this is the area of the arm of Aquarius. And then you will find Leo over here and Taurus over here. So the four arms of the fixed cross are found leading to this more central area as well in the sky. But these areas are really really fused together with the mutable counterparts in the way that you find these two together, the mutable sign of Sagittarius and Scorpio. They are fused together and govern this area in the heavens. Then you have Pisces and Aquarius fusing themselves together, mutable constellation and a fixed constellation ruling this area in the sky. And yeah, we can go around in that way. And then you end up in Leo, where it fuses itself with a mutable constellation. And what constellation may that be? Virgo. The fusion of Leo and Virgo, which is also known as the Sphinx. That's one of the main secrets about the Sphinx. So when you see a Sphinx, it is a symbol for someone who has merged the mutable and the fixed. Namely, someone who has reversed the wheel. Someone who is now treading the path of initiation and discipleship. So that's at least one of the secrets of it. Okay, so I hope you have gotten a few ideas and concepts that may help you if you study the texts into the future. There is so much more to fill in, but at least there are some seeds planted.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Thank you, Niklas.